yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra will help you awaken the best version of you. Empower life with Cleopatra. Empower life with Cleopatra.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much for joining. I know there's quite a few people already in the chats. So thank you for joining. Dr. Sunny will be joining us shortly. He has a little bit of a medical challenge, but well, this gives us enough time to share. If you haven't shared already, please share with your friends, your family, your enemies and frenemies. Share with everybody. It's going to be a good show because obviously this topic is very important to every one of us. So please do well to share with everybody. I think whilst waiting, if you're in the chat, let me see what you have put in the chat already. Hi, Riri. Thank you so much for joining, my darling. Thank you. Thank you. There's a few people who have joined, but I know that some people actually join anonymously, so you don't even see their names. So I know there's quite a few people here already. Hi, Robin. Hola, he says. I was here and posted a hi, but YouTube had a burp. Well, that's what happens before the show starts. When somebody posts anything, for some very weird reason, it doesn't register before the show starts. It's only after the show that's why I keep saying, and this is what you guys did last week as well. You guys did not go and put your chats back in the comment section like I asked you guys to do last week, because all the chats that we had during the show, they all disappeared, you see. So the only way we can get them back is when you guys come back and put them. So if you could do that for me for last week's show and this week's show, it would be perfect. Yeah. But we've got Dr. Sunny on the show tonight. It's going to be a fantastic show. Let me just do my quick intro and then get Dr. Sunny to just take it away. So welcome once again. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and to like and to share and all those good things. Yeah. And also remember to always turn on the notification bell so that you never miss any conversations, right? And you'll be the first person to get the notification if I drop a new video. Okay. Now, here on Empower Life with Cleopatra, we just don't talk about health or when things go wrong, or we wait till things go wrong and we start doing some damage control and talking about it. No. We talk about prevention. We talk about awareness. We talk about empowerment, to empower you so that you know these things beforehand and then you can do something about it. Yeah, because informed people make stronger and healthier choices. Yeah. So today's episode is one of those most important conversations we've ever had. And I'm sure you'll all agree with me. We're breaking down 3 silent but deadly conditions that affect millions of people globally, often without warning. We're talking about hypertension, heart failure, and stroke. Now, these conditions don't usually start with drama. That's the thing. They start quietly, silently, and progressively, right? And that's exactly why this conversation matters, just so that you're aware, all right? So to guide us through this life-saving discussion, I'm honored to welcome back a trusted voice and a returning guest on Empower Life with Cleopatra. Dr. Sunny Ahonsi is the founder of the London Bionatural and Wellness Clinic and the School of Bionatural Science and Bionatural Medicine. He's a pioneer in integrative medicine, digital wellness, and preventive health, with over 40 years of entrepreneurial and wellness leadership experience. So you may remember actually Dr. Sunny came before, like I said, twice on the show. One of them was about the arthritis. He did a show on arthritis some time ago. And then second time he came with another colleague of his to do a show on cell signaling with ASEA. Those 2 shows are, honestly, you need to go back and watch those shows if you haven't seen them already, all right? Well, in those shows, he helped us to understand how healing begins at the cellular level as well, right? So his work bridges modern medical sciences, ancient health, healing wisdom, and innovative digital health solutions, all with one powerful mission, and that is to help people live longer, healthier, and more empowered lives. So, Dr. Sunny, welcome so much. Welcome back to the show. It's always a pleasure to have you here, as always. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's been amazing, and we're looking. We look forward to hearing some important information about our own health.
Yes.
This program is not a prescriptive. It is not diagnosing anyone. It is actually for educational purposes, and as our host I just mentioned, for awareness.
Yeah.
So that whatever you hear from here, you can actually take note and take it back to your personal physician, who should be able to support you a lot more. So for educational purposes, and let's bear that in mind. Yeah, my name is Dr. Sunny Ahonsi. I've been in the healthcare practice for over the last 20 years. And I need not to, the show is not about me, it's all about what the topic is all about. The introduction to cardiovascular disorder. Queen, you have my presentation. You can actually help
Yes.
me to, yeah.
It's already on here. It's already displayed. If you can, I don't know if you can see it properly, but
No,
it's
I
already here.
cannot.
Hi,
No,
Edith. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm not sure why you can't see it. It's here.
hold on, let me see.
I cannot magnify more than this, or else nobody will see you, nobody will see me, and they'll just see.
I got the first page, which
Yeah,
is
we got the third. In fact, I've got up to the fourth. Let me go back to
okay. Yeah,
this is
it's
the
coming
first
out.
page.
It's coming out. Yes.
All right.
Cardio arrest, cardiovascular disorder, cardiovascular condition, they are all and the same related in many, many ways. This is quite an important statistically about a third of death around the world, which is about 75 million people globally, cardiovascular issue disorder contribute about a third of that, which is around about 25 million people that are affected globally. And that's a huge number, even bigger and wider than any other condition, not even COVID.
Hmm.
Come close. So this is why this education that you'll be receiving today is quite important, that you can incorporate it into your diary and ask a lot of personal questions to your healthcare professional.
Okay.
And yes, we can go further now so that we can explore it. And the different area we're going to be looking into will be cardiovascular itself, hypertension, and also heart failure.
Okay.
The way I have decided to tackle this is to actually look into what it is, what are some of the risk factors, what are the contributing factors, what are the causality, the cause of some of these conditions, and how you can wage yourself against any impending condition of any attack in the process, right? Let's start from the start and let's look into exactly what the cardio is all about. Yes, I'm ready to move on to the next slide, which should be, yes, global burden and importance of cardiovascular. As we already mentioned, CVDs, I just call it in a process. Yeah, can you see approximately 17 million per year? That's a huge number. Well, my medical professor said any statistics you're given in a medical field, he said just multiply by 2 or 3. So you can imagine why? Because there are some that have been reported, diagnosed, there are some that are not, and there are some who are actually suffering without showing any symptoms in the process. But with any stretch of imagination, it's a huge number of what is actually. Okay, hypertension, heart, stroke. Let's start with it. Well, most of all these things can actually be attributed to lifestyles and other medical associated condition. Yeah. You're good. You're good to the pair you've gone on to.
Okay.
Do you know somebody who is suffering, or do you have anyone, or are you yourself actually suffering? So this information will be very important. Let's look into some of the risk factor: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, smoking or alcohol consumption in an excessive fashion, obesity or sedentary lifestyle. Yeah, you're always sitting in one place without any physical activity. Yeah, this is very common, particularly people who are doing their profession is driving and they're driving, they stay put in one condition. But if you're like me, you have the opportunity of actually standing up and walking up and down. You do that intermittently whilst in the office. But if you're a taxi driver, you cannot do that unless you come out physically, or a bus driver. Stress, poor sleep, family history, people always say yes, genetically, genetic attribution. Not necessarily. Father, mother may suffer from one, but you may not necessarily do so. So other contributing factors are what we're going to explore this particular right now. And in fact, let's look into all of that then. Sexual hypertension, high blood pressure. Well, this is actually a very, very common condition that people find themselves. Right, hypertension is a condition which has the pressure of blood against the artery, and again the consistency of too high. What's normal? Well, normal it ranges between 120, 80. If it can go up to 130, it's not too much. Even up to 150, 90. That's still within the range that can sustain. That is not considered to be at risks in the process. But the moment it's going beyond that particular range, you know that the silent killer is actually around the corner. And you need to take active, in fact, proactive steps in order to see your physician right now and in the process. That's what it's all about. Those are some of the symptoms that you can, that's the range. That's the condition itself, what will consider to be a hypertensive condition or situation. And going to the next one, you will learn a lot more when we get to the second session. What are the causes and types of hypertension? Well, causes excessive salt intake, yes. Do you eat a lot of salt? Yes, salt is very good for us because salt and water constitute about 80% of our body constitution. Very, very good for us indeed. But if you take it excessively, then that is a danger. Have you ever seen a lot of people, even when the food is put in front of them, even without even testing it, they start adding a lot of salt into the process? Yeah, these people are actually causing, they're inviting this hypertensive sort of condition. Obesity is also another one. Obesity is a major, major issue. I see it can affect us in many, many different ways. You not necessarily have to be really fat, but obesity can be caused mainly by lack of physical exercise and your own dietary regime. That is quite important for you to take note of that. Some people are stressed even without anything causing it. Just, they worried about tomorrow even before tomorrow even comes. So, lack of physical activity, lack of movement, exercise. Here, I'm not suggesting that you should go to the gym and start, on those wheel or the wheel cat. Or no, that's not what I'm talking about here. Even just a simple brisk walking, walk along on the road. And if you haven't gone out a day, just because it's very cold at the moment and people think, oh yeah, there's no sunlight, but there is. And you cannot imagine, it's not necessarily that the sun is out, that's when the sunlight is. Medically, it's recommended that you go for at least a 30 minutes walk. Why is that very important? Well, according to my friend, Dr. Roger Sweat, he said sunlight has the property and the potency of actually rejuvenating our own cell, because the sun, based on research, can go into around about 8 centimeter into our skin, that at the cellular level, to rejuvenate and help the property of the skin and the cell to work better, just simply by exercising that. Kidney failure could be another one, or hormonal disorder, particularly among women who could be going through so many conditions within the hormone all over the place, perimenopause or the real menopause itself condition. All of that could be part of those who could contribute to hypertensive condition. Primarily, and it's essential that hypertension, there's no identifiable cause, most common. Scientists have not been able to come up with this, but the secondary hypertension can be caused by underlying conditions such as kidney or endometrial disorder. So you need to be able to look into yourself and listen to your body and your condition. What are some of the complications or the association in terms of other conditions that could affect our body? Controlled hypertension can lead to, uncontrolled. I just want to make sure that you're listening to me. Uncontrolled hypertension can lead to coronary arteries disease, which means that your vein can be blocked, heart attack, heart failure, which is part of the thing that we'll be discussing here, stroke, kidney failure, and vision impairment. Once you can see all of these, you're straining your eyes and everything else at this point, it's not necessarily that you need to see your optician, but it could well be a sign of hypertensive condition. It can damage your blood vessel in the process, and that can really lead into other attendant associated medical conditions as far as the body is concerned. In this session, we're now going to talk about heart failure. What exactly is it? The failure of the heart. Of course, that's what it is. Heart failure is a condition, as it says there, in which the heart is unable to pump sufficient blood to meet the blood's metabolic needs.
The body's metabolic needs.
Now, this is so important. The heart has, some of you may have heard of this word, the mitochondria of your body. Some of you may have heard of cells. Yes, our cells in composition, we have about 80 trillion cells, right? Heart is one of the major organs that has over 120 billion cells. And each cell carrying about 200 elements of mitochondria. Just multiply 120 billion or thereabout by 200. You can see the enormity of the size. Why am I discussing all of this? Well, this is so important that when you look into any medical condition, we're talking about any medical condition, including heart failure, heart disease, from A to Z, arthritis, diabetes, blood pressure, axonoma, all of that together. There's only one major factor that causes any of these conditions to prevail, to create inflammatory expression in our whole body, to create that condition that we fall ill. Only one condition. And only one cause is it: cellular dysfunction. Our cell had not been able to carry the molecule, the element throughout our whole body in order to create a body to function the way it should. Cellular dysfunction. Isn't that crazy? And there's another one factor alone that causes. I think you need to go back for me, please. That causes, right? Only one factor that causes cellular dysfunction is your mitochondrial dysfunction. What do we mean by that? Well, mitochondria is a powerhouse of the whole body that produces the right energy. Every part of the body, this is incredible. This is crazy. Every part of the body has its own mitochondria that control that particular part of the body. Just imagine that our cells are dehydrated. What would you want to do? Just give me a second.
Be back in. Oh, while we're waiting for Dr. Sunny to come back. Edith, hi. Maureen, hi. Thank you for joining. Nicole, hi. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Bumi, hi. Thank you for joining. Robin, you said, I assume that any familial discord, e.g., being henpecked or mansplained to your partner, would come under stress. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I am dehydrated right now. What would I need to do? I would just go away, just the same way I've just gone away, and fetch water.
Yeah.
Rehydrate my mouth. And what does that do to my mouth? Well, you enable the mouth to be fluid and able to have the capacity to communicate with you with clarity. That's exactly what happened with our cells. And if the mitochondria are weak, right, this is what actually happens. It's not able to inspire the cell to be able to produce the right energy so that every part of that body is actually working like an engine the way they should work. Given in fact that our cells are the unit of our lives, and they do three things. Number one, they carry blood through our body. And number two, they regulate our body system. And number three, they communicate with each other. Of that 80 trillion cells, they communicate nanosecond. What does that mean? Or more than 1 million times per second. It boggles the mind. They can only do that activity, produce that, communicate effectively, if they have the necessary battery produced by the mitochondria. So mitochondria is another subject that we will deal with in another time in this particular show in a not very distant future. So these are some of the heart conditions. The heart condition, that part of the heart has a very low mitochondria supply, and as a result, the cells are unable to work, and that will suffer from oxidative stress or inflammation or condition that weaken that particular. Just liken it to your phone battery. If your phone battery is weak, guess what happens? It cannot perform. So also, if our cells are weak due to the fact that the mitochondria have not been able to produce the necessary energy to power out that particular part of the organ, then we fall ill. Isn't that incredible? This is what actually happened. Do you have to use medication for any of the? Well, we're going to look into part of that in a moment. Let's go now to the next slide to some of the types and symptoms of heart failure. What are they? Well, left-sided heart failure, or it could be right-sided. But the question always comes up to say, where is your heart situated? Is it on the right-hand side? Is it on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side? Where is it? Well, usually the scientists have actually associated to the left-hand side, but in between the middle of the two arteries in our whole body. What are the common symptoms? Shortness of breath, fatigue or weakness. Are you fatigued? Do you feel anemic or any of this? This could be part of your heart is not pumping the right blood, and your mitochondria of the heart is very, very weak indeed. Hence, it's not able to produce and store and distribute those energy through your red blood cells in our whole body. Swelling of legs and ankles, rapid heartbeat, reduced exercise tolerance. What are we talking about here? You don't have the mood of even taking any of those. What are some of the complications of heart failure? Wow, these are really enormous, and they are dangerous. So listen to your body. Allow your body to receive that particular, yeah, fluid accumulation in the nose. Yes, this one is actually a very common factor that affect the edema, affect a lot of hypertensive or heart failure patient. And when they go to doctor, this is the first thing that the doctor will look at. The kidney, yes, dysfunction or arrhythmia, sudden cardiac death, reduce quality of life. You heard of somebody say, oh yeah, that part, he had a heart attack, he had a stroke, and that part is paralyzed. This is exactly some of those conditions that can lead to paralysis in terms of any part of the body. Early management improves survival rate and functional capacity. Again, we'll look into what are some of the areas whereby you can actually power, you can encourage, inspire your body to produce that necessary energy at the tail end of this particular presentation today. Let's look into some of the other associated heart conditions, the stroke. What is it? Well, stroke occurs when the blood supply to part of the brain is interrupted or reduced, depriving the brain of the necessary oxygen and the nutrients. This is how important this is. Scientifically, it be proven that we can stay for about 3 weeks without food. We're still going to be alive after the 3 weeks. We can stay for 3 days without water. We're still going to be alive after the 3 days. We can stay for about 3 minutes without oxygen being supplied to that part of the brain. But the moment the oxygen ceases to be supplied to that particular region, your cell has the inability due to the fact that the mitochondria is not able to pump those energy so that it can affect the brain cells. Guess what happens? People suffer from either the stroke, dementia, or any of that paralysis that affect that part of the heart, which is linked to the brain. Because the brain and the heart are the main component of the body that carry the whole body to its daily activity for it to be able to function. So if the brain begins to die within minutes, making stroke a fundamental and a silent killer. It's crazy, and it could be really fast indeed. And what are some of the type of stroke? Well, this is a very, very common one. The very first one, caused by blocked artery or blood clots. Ooh, that is a very, very common aspect of stroke.
You're talking about the ischemic stroke, isn't it?
Ischemic stroke, yes. So that really is one of the major factors that actually create that blood clot, or the brain is unable to receive the necessary blood to keep the cells going and working. Either hemorrhage. Okay, somebody said, oh yeah, he got the blood had been frozen at the critical part of. So what happened with these is the blood vessel ruptured. They're broken, so they're not able to supply, and it creates internal bleeding in the process. Well, once a patient begins to suffer that internal bleeding, it is very, very difficult to reverse that condition and the subsequent passing away. Any patient, once the doctor said to you, is suffering from hemorrhagic activity or reaction, you know that, anything else doesn't matter at all. And the intervention that the doctor may take is just to pacify the relative to say, yeah, we are still doing a lot of work. But usually at that point in time, they will call you people who provide what they call a soothing, yeah, advice. And they said to you, okay, I think it's a time. And these are the people that put you, get you prepared in terms of what could happen eventually. Yes, these are really sympathetic and well trained psychologists that are able to talk you through in terms of how you can manage your loss. High body Islamic attacks the transient.
Transient ischemic attack.
The transient one, how does it actually happen? Well, this one is one that actually move gradually into the necessary part of that body itself that in the main that create it could may not cause a disruptive damage to your body itself. It can create that a mini stroke. And it's like the tremor of the earthquakes in the process that affect that part of the body that shoot the body in a way that it may not take you out of action completely, but it can be really gradual, in as the name implies, yeah, a temporary and a transient. So the warning signs of future stroke is what is actually giving you. So you need to take an immediate action to see your physician when you or your loved one suffer from any of that particular conditions in a process. What are some of the risk factors and the symptoms that you need to watch out for stroke? Well, the risk factor, as we mentioned earlier, is hypertension. Yeah, major risk factor. And are you diabetic? Do you smoke? All of this. Or you have high cholesterol. Or your lifestyle could be one of those that we associate with sedentary, we associate with consumption of, they're not forbidding food like alcohol or any of that, but they just to be consumed at the rate that the body can accommodate, not excessively.
Sorry,
What is
so you mentioned about the atrial fibrillation.
yes. The atrial fibrillation is what actually happened within the heart palpitations in terms of how they react to the different part of the whole business in terms of coordinating the activities the of the heart itself in totality.
Or like irregular heartbeats, you mean?
Yes, totally and completely irregular without the flowing. Again, it's all part of the inability of the mitochondria of that particular part to energize the cell so that the cell will be able to pump the molecule, the oxygen, the water, and all the nutrient that the body requires in order to keep the body functioning in a process. What are some of the warning signs? Well, face dropping, yes, arm would point, speech impairment, difficulties, challenges, and the time to call emergency. Really, really important. If somebody is actually suffering from that, if you cannot help, call 111 or 999. What are some of the complications that are associated with stroke? Paralysis is one of those. Speech and language challenges, difficulties, memory and cognitive forgetfulness, impairment, loss of vision, emotional disturbances, and permanent disability or could lead to eventual death. Rehabilitation is a critical role in the recovery. Well, if the intervention takes place with a medical emergency on time, the person can be revived and rehabilitated to be able to get back on track. So early prevention, early detection is very, very important. As the saying goes, prevention is better. I will also say it is equally cheaper than cure. What are some of the prevention and lifestyle management that is important? Well, regular monitoring that cannot be overemphasized, particularly when you know that you are a potential victim of any of these conditions. Very, very important. Regular checkup. Yeah, for men who are listening here, men will always say, yeah, we're strong enough. We don't need a doctor. Or it's going to go away. It will not go away. Go and do it. Yeah. Women are, more than 60% more time to go and see a doctor than men. Men were not strong enough. Once we're overtaken by this condition, believe me, it may be difficult to reverse the whole situation. So early attention and intervention and seeking the medical advice is quite important. Otherwise, little else matters. Healthy diet. What do we mean by healthy diet? Well, one of my doctor friend, Sylvester, he said, you just need to have the rainbows on your plate. What does he mean by rainbow? Well, assorted vegetables, different color. It's quite interesting that most of the red color actually denote that they support a lot of blood. The other one, like green, they support the calcium, the magnesium of your body, and the B9, the B12, all of that in our whole body. Isn't that amazing? God had actually coded the color in a way that we can relate to the activities of these particular constitutions and even the food type. Very, very important indeed. Smoking, if you are a smoker, if you cannot reduce it, just stop. Full stop. And weight management, stress reduction. How do we reduce our own stress? Well, easier said than done. When you are in a stressful position, and the recommendation, you take a little bit of break from time to time. Control, reduction, or stress condition. Control diabetes and cholesterol. Well, diabetes is always, people say, oh yeah, if it's type 1, it cannot be controlled. Of course, there it can be. Yeah, not just the insulin injections and so forth. Type 2 easily can be controlled by just lifestyle choices, right? As we mentioned earlier, with physical exercise and control of all the other. What are some of the roles of detection if it's been detected earlier? Of all these conditions we have just mentioned, mind you, there are about 12, 13, 14 associated conditions relating to cardiovascular defect disorder. But we will only discuss about 3 of them today, and in future we can discuss all the other one as well. If we detect this early, like anything else, early detection can help the medical management team to be able to carry out the necessary intervention that can provide. Yeah, you heard of the saying, a stitch in time saves 9. Yeah, it can't just be a difference between few seconds. Just imagine that our body needs to signal every second 1 million times. Just imagine that signaling is absent for 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, then nothing else matters in the process. So the body can be brought, can be addressed with instant intervention when you understand how your body is actually functioning. Listen to your body tells you something. And most of all these conditions, actually, they take a long time for them to actually erupt. There's always a lot of telltale sign that tells you that something is actually happening and you need to take action. But do you? And will I? It's important. Improved survival rate is important. Better quality of life. What do we mean by quality of life? Well, this quality of life is New Start, ES, right? What do we mean by New Start? Well, New Start is your kitchen is important, the food you eat. And E stand for exercise or physical activity, as we mentioned earlier. And the W, you need to drink, hydrate. When I was at the medical school, and my professor said one time that one of the major problems for the geriatric generation, older people, you know what they are? Dehydration. A lot of them are dehydrated without even realizing that they have no water in their body. So you don't have to drink water when you're thirsty. You have to actually sip at interval, even when you're not thirsty, because your body requires this in terms of continuity, carrying all the other nutrients throughout the whole body. So quality of life, then the food you take, important. Make sure they are assume that proportion of rainbow-like picture in the process. Yeah, take yourself for a walk. Air is important, and faith, beliefs. A lot of people actually believes, and yeah, medically, it's actually now becoming part of the whole surface that people actually survive just by believing that a survival comes from the upper part of the earth. Sleep, vitally important, and rest, right? What's the difference between sleep and rest? Well, there's a big difference between, well, subtle difference, not very big. You can be resting without you sleeping, and you can be sleeping without you resting. So your body has not come to that restorative capacities in the process. And
Yeah.
have you ever, sometimes you're waking up one day and you feel more tired than when you went to bed? Yeah, you slept, but you have not rested.
Just to interject, Doc, if you haven't seen that show I did on Your Sleep Has Been Lying to You, go and see it, okay? Because it tells you everything about sleep and rest. There's a big difference about both of them. So
Yeah,
yeah, you need to see that because you have the REM sleep and the non-REM sleep, and then so it's important for you to know that there's a difference between proper sleep and
and
just
restorative sleep. Very good. Excellent. Yeah, go and watch that show. And that's why this content here, they are all preserved for every good work. So, integrating and preventative approaches, lifestyle medicine, as we mentioned, nutritional therapy, stress management techniques. People go for yoga. It depends, yoga and meditation, but it depends on which aspect of yoga and meditation that you go for. Again, the hard and fast rules are the a lot of things that you have to avoid in terms of chanting and all the rest of them. But that positioning and sitting down to maintain a calm disposition is important for overall health, but not the one that people go on chanting and
yeah.
talking so many things. So you need to balance which part of meditation and yoga you're going to actually. Digital health monitoring. Yeah, there's quite a lot right now called the digital health or the wearables. There's so many wearables. Even sometimes our phones, our watches can actually help to monitor some of all of these. And preventative cardiology program, again, that's very important. Integrating cares and improve our long-term outcome. Why do we call it integrated? It's integrated because it actually bring together all aspects of our own life and our system. So the cardio disorder or cardiac, such as hypertension, heart failure, and stroke are major global challenges, but early detection can help. Lifestyle modification, incredible. Well, I just said it. This is an article which I've written. It's almost complete. I call it 10 pillars of healthy lifestyle, right? Under the true health that I've developed the research I'm doing with some of the professors. Now, when you look into that 11 or 10 of those, water, water, yeah, you can actually put this one together. It's New Start ES, right? It goes into all the different parts, the 10 parts of it, that combination. The interesting part of that New Start model It doesn't have any medication that you need to take. Everything's all based on natural intervention. How you, yeah, your lifestyle modification is very, very important. Your lifestyle is actually more important than any medication that you can ever take. And that's the reality. And yes, boys and girls, men and women who are here right now, I hope today's presentation has given the necessary level of education that you needed in order for you to be able to do your own immediate check. And if necessary, you go and consult with your GP, your personal physician, wherever they may be, so that you can maintain that good health and that good order. And your body is more important than anything else, and it communicates with you every second of the day. Listen to it. Question and answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunny. Let me quickly take these few comments, and then there are a few questions that have already been asked and that I have on my screen here. But please, my royals, put something in the chat if you have any questions. Please feel free to put them in the chat. If these conditions that Dr. Sunny has talked about, if it affects other conditions that you think that you know about, or that you feel it might affect, or how does it, any question you have at all, please feel free to put it here. But let me take these comments from the chat. Hi, Bumi, once again. Robin says, all of this is increasing my stress and enticing me to have a drink and a ciggy to calm down. Robin, really? Yes. P.S. Yes, I do box breathing and other meditation too. Yeah, meditation is good. Hi, Mercy, my darling. Thank you so much for joining. Mercy says, just Friday, I was placed on BP tabs. I'm not impressed. Looking at ways to reverse this. So very interesting for me. Mercy, honestly, I hope you're okay, my darling. I hope you're okay. Okay, I really hope you're okay. But listen, definitely that can be reversed. You can get in touch with the email address. You can get in touch with Dr. Sunny, and you can talk to me. I'm not a doctor, but I've been doing a lot of research and studying, and I've done a few shows on how to actually maintain your stress levels and stuff like that. So we can talk, and then you can get in touch at the email address info@schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk. You can take a screenshot of this if in fact, let me just magnify it a bit more so that you can see it. So info@schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk. And then on the website is schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk. And also it's another website if you want to inquire about anything, schoolofbionaturalmedicine.co.uk/inquiry. Okay, so quite a few questions, Dr. Sunny, and please feel free to add your comments while I'm asking Dr. Sunny the questions. So the first question, let's go back to the stroke. Yeah. So what are the earliest warning signs of a stroke that people often overlook?
Okay. One of those is when people are short of breath, for example.
Yeah.
That is one of the early major signs. Or all of a sudden you're just being fatigued.
Right.
And when you're fatigued without any major cause of that, then you begin to say to yourself, there's something that is actually taking place here. And or it could be tiredness, not just all of a sudden you have the attention of what is actually taking place. And there are so many. What would you need to really be looking for is, or you're just confused for all of a sudden. Yeah, your thoughts are convoluted, converted into so many aspects of other area, or you just get dizzy all of a sudden. Yeah, It's happened to us from time to time. It's not a serious medical condition when we feel, particularly when we do something that strains our body beyond the normal. But on a normal day, just dizziness all of a sudden can actually be part of, or you feel numbness, of your fingers or your toes, as this case may be. They're not necessarily, that you're going to be struck by stroke, but they can be the telltale sign of any sort of stroke is going to take place. Numbness of the feet or different part of the body or your fingertips, and all of a sudden, dizziness, tiredness, and if it's going to be either on the right hand side or on the left hand side, you can actually have maybe some sort of sharp pain in the process as well. Yeah, those are some of the early signs of
Okay.
experiencing.
Okay. Robin says, yes, I always avoid all pharmaceuticals unless lifestyle changes are still not working, i.e., pharma is absolute last resort. My mom got so many side effects from pharmaceutical medications and all that, and none helped her. And Ryan thanks you. And Nicole says, oh, hi, Ryan. Thank you for joining. And Nicole says, it's a pertinent and informative session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let me ask the second question about stroking. And let's take on with stroke. How can someone tell the difference between a mini stroke and a full stroke?
Okay, a mini stroke, this is what we're talking about, the transient one,
Yeah,
right? It is a gradual, it's like if somebody cut off your finger, it's different from when they pinch it. That's the analogy I can use.
yeah,
So you feel the pinch, and the pinch, it can be intermittent. But if it's a full blown stroke, it can just occur all of a sudden, and it blow out you out of control almost totally. God forbid bad thing. I think the transient, the one is actually a lot better because you can take action straight away. But whether it is a transient or the full blown, there are signs that tells you your body doesn't just break down in one day all of a sudden. There are a lot of signs, your finger numbness or your dizziness, or you lose you cannot see properly and you begin to strain your face, or you just get overly stressed for no reason. All of these, they are all part of, they can contribute to the transient or the mini, or the mini can lead into the major. That's the issue. Your body always communicates with you all the time, but just listen to it, slow down, listen, and see what the body is actually saying. Let
yeah,
me add, somebody mentioned about running away from the pharmaceutical. Well, I believe that pharmaceuticals are very, very good in terms of analysis, in terms of diagnosis, and so forth. But if you have to use a medication at a point to create an immediate and instant revival, so be it. But only use it when it is absolutely necessary, because every medication you take medically and a clinical trial have demonstrated that are always side effect,
yeah,
always side effect, because your body will have to fight those side effects in order to cope, and your mitochondria had to work double the time in order to produce more energy, in order to engulf or eclipse those conditions in the process. Yes, if you can avoid it, do. But if not, if you have to take it, then take those paracetamol or the tablets.
Mercy says they tell you that once you have high BP and on tabs, you can't reverse it. But I don't agree. With all I have on my plate, is actually no wonder it's high. I need to make adjustments and be more aware. Absolutely, my love. Absolutely. We definitely need to talk after, maybe sometime during the week. All right. Probably not tonight, but during the week. And like I said, you've got the email address now for Dr. Sonny's
If,
um,
If I could just respond to that as well, Mercy, that's a very, very good question. Maybe you're speaking from experience and so forth. The reality is 99.99% of any medical conditions are reversible, are treatable, provided you are able to inspire your mitochondria. Yeah, once your mitochondria is actually working at full capacity, nothing actually, and it puts your body into what is called a balanced state of homeostasis. That improves your own immune system, your own cardiovascular, and so forth. We do have other traditional remedy, yeah, which I'm not necessarily mentioning here, but they are very important. The body needs that nutrient, the nutrient for it to be able to function properly. And the right nutrient is from food and others naturally based, prescribed, or not medication as we know in the traditional way, which I use a lot of intervention that are not necessarily synthetic based or they're not drug related. They do not have any form of any form of manipulation from chemicals, but they are all naturally based, clinically researched and trialed here in the UK and in America, which I recommend to my patient. And these particular nutrient supplement, they are not full supplement, they are signaling supplement. These are the one that empower your mitochondria to be able to produce a lot of energy, purify your whole body, deforest or rehydrate your whole body into the capacity for it to produce energy for the cell to be live and help and keep you healthy in the process. So you can send me any information on the email address, and yes, we can speak.
Okay, thank you very much. I can't even ask all the questions now. Probably just ask one or two for each of the other conditions because time is fast spent. We're almost an hour now. But Riri says, I have been on BP tablets for 25 years, but since I stopped drinking, my BP is normal without tablets for 3 months now. So she's been on, tablets for 25 years, but once she stopped drinking, everything regulated itself, which is a very interesting thing. And Riri, thank you so much for that. So yes, excess alcohol can definitely, like Dr. Sonia said, be one of the main triggers of this.
Yeah. It's equally very important. This medication we talk about. Yeah, I always said to my client, yeah, I'd never ask my client to stop using the medication that that have been prescribed by a qualified medical professional. I have to do my own analysis first before I can make a recommendation. But it's always the fact that stop a day, 2, 3, and because the body actually has a way of regulating itself. And don't forget, sometimes the doctor just prescribe because it's an easy option for them. And what they don't realize, your body is actually killing itself. It's actually damaging. Any medication you're taking is actually damaging part of your own immune capability. They compromise your immune cells that enable you to function even properly. So again, listen to the body. Body is important.
Okay, thank you. So what is the difference between hypertension and heart failure?
Okay, as we have done the definition earlier, you see, when you are hypertensive or you are in that particular state, it's a condition of your body is overly stressed, basically, right? And a lot of people who are hypertensive, there are people who are always worrying about what is going to happen, and even when there is no fire, they say, oh yeah, the fire is already there to burn down the whole place when there is nothing like that at all. Even in the Bible, Jesus said, he said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. He said, be sufficient for today's worrying. Yeah. So it's all about worrying sick in terms of what is actually taking place. When it is stroke, is it heart failure or the stroke? Heart failure?
Yeah, heart failure.
Heart failure is the inability of your body to be able to pump the necessary oxygen and blood to the brain cells. So the brain cells have been starved. They are dehydrated. And one of those is what I talked about the mitochondria. If your mitochondria of the brain area is not performing, it's not able to pump those blood and carrying those oxygen and other molecule to regulate the activity of the brain area. Hence, that dehydration causes a lot of problem of a failure. The heart just stop, active. That's what it is.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me see if you have anything in the chats. Okay, Robin says we do have to be careful too with quality of life. If we did all the right things for everything, you might live longer or you might live much longer, but you are likely to be very miserable. Uh,
Okay, I
I think
think
it's about a balance, I suppose.
yeah, exactly. It's a balance that matters, right? Right. As one of my professors said, he said, "We will die of something one day." Yes, don't forget our body. If you restrain yourself, because discipline is one of the major medicines that is available for human society. So if you don't discipline because your brain interprets it, you want you to, I want to want to want. That's what those people who drink. That's what happens. Even when they are drunk, their brain is still telling them that they want more. So it's all about control. It's all about discipline. It's all about being balanced. Anything else is good for the body, even alcohol, if it takes in moderation.
Yes. Thank you so much. Just Camelia, thank you so much for joining. Just Camelia says, personally, and as a business, I am a proponent for herbs and would explore that option first as part of my management plan. 100%, 1,000,000% even agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. And Mercy says medication most of the time just masks the problem and introduces more issues to your body. I would always try natural and non chemical pharmaceutical medicine as well as lifestyle changes. 1,000,000%, girl. You're totally right. Edith, thank you so much for joining and for your comments. It's for multiple vitamins, which will you say is kind of needed? So for multiple vitamins, which would you say is kind of needed? So Edith, are you saying that for people that take multivitamins, are you asking if it's necessary for them to take it as a preventive measure to, or please explain a little bit more so that doctor will understand. Or doctor, do you understand what Edith is asking?
No, just clarify that, please.
Yeah, for multiple vitamins, which will you say is kind of needed? Uh, or maybe you're asking for Dr. Sunny to recommend a multivitamin for you that would probably help you prevent it.
But
Why?
this is an interesting area. People always take multivitamin, vitamin B6, B9, B12, whatever. But the reality is, your body need to be in that homeostatic state. This is what we were discussing earlier. Don't just take vitamin because they say to vitamin B6, it does this, it does that, vitamin B12. No, if your body is toxified, right, and your cells are not able to signal, there's no point taking those vitamins. It's like the analogy I normally use for this is you see on the pavement of the road there is a lot of rocks falling down onto the roadside, and you kept on sweeping it. What happens the moment you actually take the brooms away? What happened to then you curse again. So you need to detoxify your whole body system. Your body is free, and your lymphatic system, your drainage system are clear and clean. Then any vitamin you taking in will work much better. Some people religiously just take vitamin for the sake of it. It doesn't produce any result because your body is not ready for it. It's not able to absorb it. So you take it in, then it just goes out through the evaporative system, the uh, either the digestive system and all the other system of the body, or like sweat. It evaporates almost immediately. It's not retained in the body. So before you start taking vitamin, you need to understand not just a medical intervention, but somebody like myself who understand about cellular signaling to be able to say to you, this is what you're taking. This may be all the different part of it. So don't just take vitamin for the sake of it, because you can even toxify yourself with more vitamin because of the conjunctions of the body itself. That's why a lot of people take vitamin and they're not seeing any impact at all in the process. Are you one of those? Find out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think all the vitamins that's needed really can be found in food.
Yeah.
In good food. And I
in
know
the,
that
in the rainbow.
yes, and I know that nowadays, please check out a lot of the shows I've done so far. You would see that everything we're talking about here now is um kind of like agreeing with everything that we've talked about in the shows, because the importance of food, and we're not just talking about food, we're talking about really good quality food. A lot of these foods nowadays that you have in the supermarket, a lot of them are not organic, and that's another problem, because a lot of them are loaded with pesticides, especially the fruits and the vegetables and stuff like that, just because they want to preserve them from all kinds of other external factors and stuff. But if it's possible to get organic food, but even if you can't, you can always get nice veggie wash or whatever to clean the outside of those other foods that are not entirely organic. But you need to make sure that you eat the right foods to help. And you probably will not need any supplements if you eat the right foods, right? Like we said, the rainbow, right? And I know some people don't like things like broccoli and kale and all those sort of things, but they're really good for you. All right. So please, it's very important. Doctor, honestly, I had so many questions to ask, but time is fast spent. So I'm not going to ask those questions now.
You can send them to me, then I'll send a reply. They can go back to.
Yeah, I mean, you got them already. I've already sent you the questions. So
Okay.
you can send them to me when you've answered them. And then anybody who needs answers to those questions, I'll just forward it to them.
Yeah.
With pleasure. I can even put it on the on this show, maybe just attach it as or just put it on pin it to the comment section as well for people to see it as well. So that would be really good. And to my royals, like, thank you so much for joining. And I mean, if this conversation has really resonated with you, please do not ignore any signs that you may even be having now with your body. It's very important that you don't ignore signs. Check your blood pressure, know your numbers, right? Take prevention seriously, because like we said, prevention is cheaper than cure. All right. And if you'd like to learn more, like we said, about this integrative cardiovascular health, you can connect with Dr. Sunny through the London Bio-Natural and Wellness Clinic and the School of Bio-Natural Medicine. All right. Once again, Dr. Sunny, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your clarity, and your commitment to saving lives. Honestly, is really, really commendable. Thank you so much. And because this is not the only time you do quite a lot of this sort of things elsewhere. And so obviously you are making a difference, and we appreciate it. And to my real, so everyone watching, please, if you're watching this as a rerun, please always watch it to the end. And everyone, please, I beg of you, like I said last week, you guys did not come back and write the comments again at the end of the show, after the show, the music has ended. And so because of that, there were not a lot of comments. So please, when you finish this show, just give it maybe 1 or 2 minutes and come back and just write what your thoughts are about this show. Do the same for last week's show as well, so that people can see how important these shows are, and then they can watch it and then they can engage with it, right? So thank you so much. But remember though, your heart is not just an organ, right? It is the engine of your life, right? So when you protect your heart, you protect your future. So please look after yourself, right? This has been Empower Life with Cleopatra, where awareness creates action, and action creates empowered living, right? So thank you once again for joining. Guys, we're going to leave it here for tonight. It's already fast spent in terms of time. So thank you once again, Dr. Sunny. Thank you so much, my royals. Next week, guys, we are going to be having a very interesting show as well. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to. When you see the topic, then you'll be excited. All right. So please join us again next week for another wonderful episode of Empower Life with Cleopatra. Until then, be bold, be kind, look after your heart, okay, and stay empowered. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Listen to your body.
Bye, guys. Listen to your body. Yes, exactly. Listen to your body. Okay. Bye, guys. Love you all. Bye bye.
Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Unlock your true potential. Empower your mind, body, and soul. Live with intentions, live with a purpose. Empower your dreams, make it happen today. No matter your age, rise and shine. Live boldly, live authentically. It's your time to rise and shine. Empower life with Cleopatra. Awaken the best version of you. Your journey starts today. You've got one life to live. Love yourself, be kind to others, break free and let your spirit soar. Empower life with Cleopatra will help you awaken the best version of you.